Hey guys, it's me Eunbin, and although my exam is going on, but I still thought about making this video anyway, cause I don't think I would like to talk about this later. If you didn't get it already, today I will be talking about Are You Next? However, I will not go over every aspect of the show cause I don't have the time for it, so I will just talk about my picks, the final lineup, and the original songs. First, let's talk about the show a little bit. The show starts with showing hype groups are so successful and getting into the group means guarantee success. I mean, which is more or less true. However, they show all the groups under hype except three. Guess who those three are? Formstein, and Team, and Boy Next Door. They did the same thing when they announced the project they are doing, making an international group with some American record. Okay, that and Team is a Japanese group, so not mentioning them maybe makes sense. But then what about Formstein? They are under you. Yeah, they didn't debut under you, but that same goes for 17. You mentioned them, but not for Miss 9. Is it make sense? I don't know. And I'm not sure if Boy Next Door debut before the show or not, and they are still a rookie, but so is New Jeans. Boy Next Door is the only hype group after BTS that debut under them and didn't get the first win with the debut song. So they might consider them as a failure. That's what I feel. And I also think if Christian was still under the players, I think they won't mention them either. Or I'm just making too much about this. I'm just upset that my favorite group is not included there. Now let's actually talk about the show. Throughout the show, it was really wholesome. It was not as dramatic as the Mnet show was. There was not much evil edit, but it would be a lie if I said there were no evil edit. Their evil edit was like a target base. They will target one contestant and evaluate her till she doesn't get eliminated. Like Iris, Chanel, and sometimes Wonhee was the main target of the Evil Edit. But Evil Edit didn't actually affect their voting because Iris got eliminated before they actually counted the online voting, and Chanel was in the top 6 on the voting when she got eliminated. So that means they actually got eliminated because of judges and the lack of benefits. In the show, we saw some amazing judges, and they have an active role throughout the show. In Mnet shows, we saw some judges, but they were just to give reactions. They don't have any role when it comes to elimination or something. But in this show, we saw an important role of the judges and their decision. Although in some part the judges' decision was quite questionable, but I'm not a critic, so I guess they know more than me. When they announce the show, I take a word that I will follow every piece of content of the show. Like I will see every pre-debut content, like behind the scene, like every extra content they put on Weavers or YouTube. I will see everything. And that definitely was my plan. And I tried my best to be on the path. But I couldn't. Uh, I just saw some introduction video. I just feel tired thinking about seeing all of those intro. I only saw Iris, Ruka, Jiu, and Minju's intro video. Other than that, I couldn't continue. Then revealed that the review lineup actually consists of 6 members, which was really low. And from the beginning, I know I would be hurt after the final lineup. I don't know why Hype wants a 6 member group so badly. Why not 7? They will remove one of them eventually after a false accusation. So why not 7? If you didn't get it, I was talking about Lesser Film, and Ruka was supposed to debut with them. I didn't watch the documentary, so I don't know if they had a valid reason or not. But even if you don't mention she was a part of Lesser Film's pre-debut, I would say she gives a totally Lesser Film's vibes. Her head to toe scream Lesser Film actually. Such a loss. I guess it is the right time to talk about my picks. At first, my top pick was Iris because she kinda looked like Peniel of P2B. I know it is a silly reason to like her, but I like her. Although until she got eliminated, she got heavily evaluated, but her action was like how most of us would do if we were in her shoes. The show shows that she doesn't memorize the whole song and she only know her part. Then when they ask question to her, she got blank. First of all, she is the foreigner and so young. She lacked in skill for sure. And as a foreigner, it is hard for her to memorize the whole song. So it's totally logical that she only memorized her part. And then she has to perform in front of everyone where everyone is like better than her. So she would get nervous. That's the common thing. And everyone get nervous. Some can hide it and some can't. And at that moment, if you ask someone to sing a different part that she doesn't know, of course she will be blank. Even if this guy were in her situation, I'm pretty sure he would be also blank. Again, I'm angry about the edit. I'm not angry on Chilkon. Then there is Ruka. I actually watched the show mainly because of her. She did really well throughout the show, but most of the time her team actually misses the benefit, and I think that was the main reason of her elimination. If she could just survive one more round, she could make it to the final. Then there is Himena. And I became a fan of her right after I saw her performance when I moved. She was like quite unpopular among the others, and she always had the low ranking in voting. However, that didn't stop her to proving herself, and every round she proved that she belonged there, and she made it to the final all by herself. Then there is Minjo. At first, she was like any other contestant who sang well. For me, nothing exceptional. But day by day, I started liking her. And mostly after I Don't Care performance. That performance was legendary. And right after the performance, I started liking her like crazy. And she became one of my top pick. And now I can't even imagine a single possible lineup without her. And there is Chyo. She was like my number one pick actually. And yeah, we are wrong. But I will talk about this later in the video. First, let's focus on this section actually. I like her because she kind of look like Taeyang from WJSN. I guess you can see the similarities. I don't know if it was just me. That was the main reason, I guess. I mean, that was the first reason of liking her. But I started noticing her. I mean, she killed every single performance. I mean, point out one single performance why I can say she was not performing good or she was bad. I really consider her like guaranteed position in the group and be the leader. But yeah, but however, she was my number one pick from the start till the end. Lastly, there is Wonhee. Yeah, now you can see my double standard. I was the one who actually criticized the show Fantasy Boys because throughout the show, actually, the whole show actually shows it is visual over talent. And many people actually describe Oni as like visual over talent. However, I like Oni, but the reason I like Oni is different from others. Yeah, I will explain why actually most people like Oni in the later section of, but here I will share my reason why I like her. And the reason I like her because I can relate to her. It is totally personal thing because when I see her, I can see myself because her action actually remind me of myself. Her nature, her behavior is quite similar to me. And the way she encourages others in the, I guess, color round or color mission when like there were option that you can change the song and she was like, yeah, you can change it. It's okay. We don't mind. And she was like totally make funs and jokes that actually reminds me of myself. And so I can relate to her. And when I can relate to her, when I feel that when she will be happy, I will be happy. And when she will get the success, I feel like I actually got it. And that was actually the main reason the supporting her. And I'm really happy that she made it in the group. Now let's move on to the original song. Throughout the show, we got 5 original songs. First, the theme song or the signal song, whatever you want to call it, of the show, sung by none other than Suzy. And I don't think I even need to compliment her voice. I mean, that's wonderful. And I guess it is the best theme song of any survival show so far. Then in the image spanning mission around, I don't know, we got 2 original songs. One was Pride and one was Scrum. Choreography wise, the Pride was a total banger. When they show the sneak peek of Pride, I had the same reaction as the contestant. But the sound wise, I prefer the Scrum sound more. It's just a personal preference. The Scrum team also did a great job, especially Mocha and Jungkook. Jungkook always gave a good performance but never got that much praise for her performance that she deserved. And Mocha always did a decent job but not exceptional. But in Scrum, she gave her everything. Probably she also knew if she didn't do well this time she would get eliminated. And same goes for Himena. Probably she also knew if she don't give her 100% this time she will get eliminated. And the whole image pairing round actually revolved around Himena, Mocha, and Jungkook. Next in final we got two original songs, Aim High and Desperate. Both songs were so good and I'm seeing myself going there often to listen those songs. And for sure I will even see the performance and I will stream them. But again, sound wise, I prefer Aim High more because I like this type of sound. But when it's come to performance, I mean it's not related to their performance. They did a good job with their performance, but desperate. I mean, I don't know how to describe this part. Although I say it in Queen Puzzle that if you don't like a song sound, you can like the performance. And actually, Desperate proved me wrong. Even if you don't like a song sound, the performance can make you like the song. And they actually made me like the Desperate. It was one of the best stages I ever seen in any K-pop reality show. I never seen like this much of stage presence. It was one of the best. I can't describe the stage. I mean, you should go and see this. I mean, you can feel the performance, and this is how a final performance should feel like. And despite really delivered that, and I am saying this, the how many stages I saw in any K-pop survival show, this was the best. Oh boy, it is time. Let's talk about the final lineup. As you guys know, my exam is going on, and because of the study, I couldn't watch the show live. So I was waiting for JTBC to upload the episode. So I was like searching and all, refreshing and stuff. Then I saw this video thumbnail. At first, I saw only the side where you can see Jonghoon and Himena. First, I thought it was a elimination pitch. Then I saw Jimin and Yuna, and I was wondering if Jimin and Yuna got eliminated. But when I looked carefully and I saw it's not Yuna, it was Chyo. Then I thought it might be a debut pitch. I mean, there is no way Jimin and Chyo can get eliminated, you know. But I was like, both Himena and Jonghyun got into the final lineup. I mean, it sounds too good to be true. And at the same time, I was worried about Minju quite a little bit. Also, back on my mind, I was also thinking if this is elimination pitch, so Q is also in there. So I couldn't wait and I just went to Sumpi and see the final lineup. And at first, I saw this. So after seeing this, I was like, I feel relief. I mean, it is the best lineup that can be possible. Although Himena didn't make it, but we all saw this one is coming, and I was totally prepared for it. And also, Wonhee didn't make it, but I was sad for her. But it was good for her because just one more year of training, she could become a monster. Then I scroll and see this GIF where you can see it written Wonhee is the first member of the group. I'm like, huh? What? I mean, it's saying this was like top six and this one is not part of this and one is a final member of the group. I mean, I was totally failed in the calculation, so I just saw the whole lineup. And that's how I get to know the lineup actually. And I guess it was like one of the most controversial lineups so far throughout the survey issue history. And it has the reason actually. The reason could be the evolution system because throughout the show, it was like the individual score from the judges and the 50% Korean board and 50% international board combined, they make a score. That's how they got their ranking and stuff throughout the show. But in the final, the international board, which include the 50%, but now it will affect actually 30%. And that 30%, 50% is international board and 50% was Korean board. And that means 15% of international vote. And the other 70% will be by live voting, mostly by the Koreans. I'm not totally sure if international fans can vote or not, but that's what people are saying. So I'm like, I guess that's true. Also, the most international fans actually was the show after it was uploaded on YouTube because mainly they can see the live due to the time difference. So it was like 90% of international people is not watching. So who will actually vote, even if they can vote? That actually didn't stop there. By the fans vote, actually only 2% will get selected, and other 4 will be chosen by the labels, which mean the producer, which mean the Hybe. That's why the most popular contestant internationally, who also rank number 1 in global vote, you didn't make the cut. That was actually the main reason of people getting angry, and same goes for me. I mean, she was the perfect leader you can imagine. Actually, it was their loss. I don't know what was the criteria on Ireland, but I can see why actually Hype did the fourth pick thing. Probably they also didn't want Wonhee to debut, and her rank also fall off from last few episodes. So they thought there is no way she could make to the top two. But they missed really important details there. The reason of her getting low ranking was mainly because of international fans. Because you can see like a YouTube video where they are actually saying that it's visual over talent, so don't vote her. But when it comes to Korean fans, they actually adore her. Hence, she made not only in top two but also being the first. I don't know if they actually thought that way. It was just my theory. I also decode the reason behind the four pick they chose. First, Wonhee and Youngso was chosen by fan, and I'm pretty sure even if Youngso didn't make the top two, she would be chosen by the producer either way. Probably they actually rank 1 to 10 by their choice of debut. After to call out, top 4 will get less. I think Wonhee wasn't in their top 6. Maybe Jimin and Chyo, one of them was in 6. If we remove Wonhee and Youngso from the list, we remain 8 contestants. Then their first priority was Yuna because she was a big hit trainee. Yeah, they're all under hype, but they have their priorities among the subsidiaries too. And throughout the show, Yuna got irritated a way that you must like her. Although she was like a top pick, but they shows like she was underrated and stuff, so you like her. So yeah, it was like quite obvious choice for them. And then their next choice was Minju. I'm not quite sure the particular reason choosing her, but I think the reason that she liked by both Korean fans and international fans, not like Jiu, who was mostly liked by international fans, and Wonhee, who was mostly liked by Korean fans. So it became quite obvious choice for them. Then decision became quite difficult. Two obvious choices would be Jiu and Jimin, but if they include these two, the whole group will end up all Korean. And nowadays companies don't want to do that because they also want to get benefit in international market, mostly in the Japanese market. Where it was the last time we saw a full Korean group. Itzy, also StayC, but StayC is not under a big company, so I don't think small company or medium company actually think that far. So they don't even care about international markets. They just want to be good in the Korean market. That's what they want actually. However, nowadays it's become unusual to see a group debut without a foreign member. So that's why they decide to include Iroha and Mocha in the group. And their last pick was Jiu or Jimin or Jongwon. Any of them could actually make it. And they left the decision to the fans' hand, and the fans never did a proper job, especially the Korean fans, of course. Also, if their question might come, how they were full sure that two Korean members will be selected in top two. Actually, that's you should do some math and logic like Korean like Korean. So if you are a Korean, you will like see another Korean to be win, right? That is like if you give like every power to a Korean, they won't make a top two among like a Chinese or Japanese contestant. I mean that's logic. I mean that's how things work. But even if you give me the power to replace two of them with Jimin and Jiu, I won't even remove Wonhee actually. You already know the reason. I would remove Mocha first and replace with Jiu. Then Iroha, I think I will remove Iroha, although I would like to replace her with Himena. But I also like to see Jimin too in the group. If you saw my Boys Planet review, there I said I don't watch Kpop survival show cause I might hate the whole group because my prep didn't make it, and I can totally see this is happening. But it's totally not their fault. They didn't make the decision, and the whole decision was on fan hands and the producer hands. And of course, they want to debut. Again, it's not like I don't like any of them. I like all of them individually, but I only don't like that you didn't make it. So you should also think this way that your favorite didn't make it doesn't mean that you should hate the other girls because it has nothing to do with them. They had also the same dream to debut, and that's why they were here. And all of them were totally good if you think that way. It's just that our fave didn't make it. And I saw many people started posting hate comments about Wonhee. It's not right, bro. You should also understand why people like her, and you should respect their liking. And as I said, I will explain why people like her. Let me explain. We already saw Korean like young idol like Wonyoung, Kaden, Hanujin was a few example of it. Also, there is two type of viewers in this type of show. One is us, the K-pop stan, and other was the general audience. We K-pop stan go over every clip, their background, their skill, and whatnot. But the general audience only watches the episode, and they might even don't know about Himena because her first performance didn't air. And in average viewership, there are more general audience than K-pop stan, and they don't care who is singing good or not. They just watch the show and vote who caught their attention, probably with their visual or probably who they can relate with. Also, they love stories. When we K-pop stans see a evil edit, we can clearly tell that is evil edit. But when they saw it, they started hate her and portray her as a villain of the show. And of course, they don't like already perfect contestant. They like to see people to go in the show. Like first, a contestant wasn't that good, but she learned day by day, got amazing. That's what they like to see the growth. Like in Fantasy Boys, Kiran will be one of the good example. At first, he wasn't that good, and he only wanted the part which is in English. But few episodes before the final, he started showing improvement, and that people liked. Even he beat three guys who had never been out of top 10 and made into the final lineup. And it is quite same for Wonhee. At first, she wasn't that confident, but right after my background, she started gaining confidence and started improving day by day. And now her vocal was solid and stable. That's why people can relate to her and they love her. Again, she still get nervous on stage, but as I said before, all get nervous, but some can hide it, some can't. You should not hate her for something that she didn't have the control. You actually should give the hate to the company. For the lineup, maybe, but for the name, definitely. What was the name again? I will eat. I'll eat. I don't know how to pronounce it. And that's the worst name I ever heard actually. They could come up with like many good names like Ran, Runner. Heck, even within this name, I can come up with good name. Like just remove the upper comma and one L and then take the hyphen and place it between the first I and L. And it became this, which pronounced as eyelid. Kind of sound like island, but also similar with BI, meaning be me. So eyelid means me lead, bro. I can just came up with this with like a few seconds. Why they can't came up with a better name? Such a disappointment. However, I'm just done with talking. I guess this is it for today. I don't know how long this video is going to be and how long it will take me to edit. I mean, it will not. I just put some random clips. So yeah. So I don't know why I'm making this while my exam is going, but I hope you like my decoding and stuff. So I hope I will see you after my exam. And till then, have an awesome life. For Moa, I said why I'm saying Moa is a smoker. Fuck, it was smoker. I don't like myself.